If my life was a film, I think the title would be It's Never That Serious. Hi everyone, my name is Esha. I'm a double major in film and biology, and I'm also minoring in graphic design. Esha is the name of an Indian goddess. She is the goddess of wisdom and strength. She has multiple names. Her main name is Goddess Durga, and Isha is just one of her many names, and she has a pet lion, which is super cool, and multiple arms to represent all the ways that she protects her loved ones. I've been in St. Louis for my entire life. My parents actually graduated from Webster University, so I like to joke with people and tell them I've been here for 22 years because my mom taught when she was pregnant with me. In elementary school, in second, third, fourth grade, when all these kids were like telling their dream jobs, and it'd be like astronaut, firefighter, like vet, whatever, my dream job that I was told my teachers, even as like an 8-year-old, was orthodontist. And all my teachers were like, where is she getting this from? Because orthodontist was just like so out of like, it's not like imaginary fun job. It was just like, yeah, I want to work with teeth. And part of that came from like all the different teeth issues I had growing up. I had like an extra tooth, so I just was in and out of the orthodontist office so much that I was like, I want to be orthodontist at the age of 8. Then in high school, I fell in love with theater. I was just in and out of the theater program. I'd been doing theater my entire life. It was just always a hobby of mine. It wasn't like a love of mine. But the turning point was the way that my high school worked was that you take acting 1, acting 2, directing, and then studio acting. I remember there was this project that we did where we were all given the same script, and it was kind of like, it didn't actually have a meaning. It was just like one person saying a random line and another person saying a random line. And she said, I'm not going to tell you the meaning of the script, just you guys go direct it how you see fit. And so all the directors went and we directed the scene, and each and every director had a completely different scene. And that was the first time I realized the importance of directors and what they actually do and how much they actually bring to the table. And I remember I just like got chills, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I could take a script and make it my own. So I fell in love with directing. And so when I was looking into universities, I kind of had that like rebellion teenage like attitude where I was like, oh, my parents went to Webster, I'm gonna go somewhere else, like I'm gonna be my own person. But then I realized like the best conservatory around was at Webster, so I was like, okay, well, I guess Webster it is. And so I guess it was just always written in my destiny. And I thought in order to be like a directing major in the conservatory, you had to sing. I'm beautiful in every single way. Words can get you down. And I can't sing. So I was like, okay, I still want to direct. Maybe if I can't be in the conservatory, I can direct in other places. And the other place, it was in front of camera, directing films, directing TV shows. And so I ended up doing the film program here.
So this is all my different, I've set designed probably 5 films in the past 5 weeks. And 1 photo shoot, 4 films and 1 photo shoot. And so all of this stuff is just like the various things I use on different sets. For Ross's set today, we're gonna be using one of these curtains. So this is just my box of like different curtains I've used on various sets. We'll be using this one. I actually painted this mask for my friend Sam's set at one point. And so yeah, this was the stuff I used for my photo shoot. Like there's just like a vase with flowers. So yeah, currently my backstage is full of various set design things.
I don't really feel a switch in my head when I go from science to art. In fact, I kind of like prefer it that way. Like if I'm working on science, like a biology report, and I need a break, I will like crave to do something creative. And sometimes I get, so like burnt out, I'll hit like a blank page and I don't know what to do next, and then I want to do something scientific. And so for me, like I kind of require both. And I also sometimes it's not even a switch. Sometimes I need my creative mind to do science and to think out of the box. And sometimes I think I need that scientific mind and that step-by-step process and, being really careful about, analyzing what's going around me and then applying it to what I'm doing when it comes to creative pursuits like graphic design and film. It's an interesting line to toe, especially as a second-generation immigrant and growing up with minimal representation online and in TV shows and in movies. The only Indian characters I saw, I can count on my hand, but it was like Baljeet from Phineas and Ferb, or it was Raj from Big Bang Theory, or it was Ravi from Jessie. And the characteristic with all these Indian characters were that they were smart and they were really good at math and they were really good at science, and that's all I really knew. And for the longest time, I always taught to myself, like, in order to be a good Indian, I have to be smart. And that's what poor representation really does too. You kind of just see this one token character and you think, okay, I'm Indian and so that's all I can be. And it really kind of just messes, especially as a young mind, like that's all the representation I got. And so I, growing up through elementary and middle school, really strived for like, I'm smart, and anytime I got a B, I would tell myself I'm not a good Indian. I failed as an Indian, which is so crazy because me being Indian is, the culture I grew up in. It's the food I eat, it's the language I speak, it's the music I listen to, it's my motherland, it's the DNA within me. It's not some, outside things such as grades. Grades don't define how Indian I am. My parents have always been supportive. It's kind of been outside influences. I remember when my mom would tell her friends, she's pursuing film, my mom's friends would kind of make a face and be like, oh, like, what jobs is she gonna get from that? And, seeing that kind of hurted me because I was like, my parents' like reputation is on the line based off, what I'm doing. So I think being Indian is super important when it comes to creative fields because we need more representation, but at the same time it is interesting to navigate, especially when you come from a family that doesn't really pursue creative things and it's purely academics, and there's such a stress on financial stability, which is not always a guarantee when it comes to creative fields. I feel like I haven't fully been able to dedicate myself to either major. And I always feel like I'm never doing enough for either one. Even though I know I'm doing enough and my grades reflect that, by the end of junior year, I was so burnt out, like emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like I did not feel like myself at all. I was just super emotional, and I also just like was tired all the time. I did not feel like I was living. I came to Webster on a merit-based scholarship, which is part of the reason I came here, and in order to keep that merit-based scholarship, I can only get a maximum of 1B a semester, and so I have so much pressure on me to maintain those good grades as well. And so I ended up maintaining that, but at the price of my mental health and with the stress on me. And so last semester, I was not here at all. I took all online classes, I went to Australia, I went to India, and I just took like time for me and like to reassess what I was interested in and what I was passionate about. I spent the summer away doing comedy studies and like actually refreshing myself and feeling like myself for the first time in like 3 years. And so yeah, it definitely was not the healthiest way of going through university. There are times where I don't feel like the things I'm making are creative or funny or even worth showing people. And it has been my friends that consistently show up and consistently snap me out of it and always have cherished me being on sets. And even if I am having an off day, you know, there will be someone that comes up to me and like compliments me on something I did film-wise or something I did biology-wise. And even the connections I've made through teachers here, especially more so on the biology side, I don't think if I had had people like my research advisor, Dr. Strutman, or my honors college advisor, Dr. Kim Kleinman, that I would have stayed in biology, because it's those two that have consistently complimented my work I did in biology. They have encouraged me to apply for outside grants, and I ended up winning those grants. And there's been anonymous people who last year nominated me for a leadership award, and I won that award. And so like winning those grants and winning those awards snaps me back into it, and it's like, no, what I am doing is important. I am good at what I do. Coming to Webster, I definitely feel like I've found my community and the people who, even if I will text them and be like, hey, can't make it tonight, they will still invite me back to like the next function. If I text them and be like, I'm gonna be 20 minutes late, I was doing biology homework, they've always been understanding. I've never felt like I'm a burden because of how hard I'm working, or I never feel like I'm missing out on things because my friends always try to make me feel included. And even if I tell them I'm gonna be on set, but I'm probably gonna be doing homework, they 100% understand. And so I think even though I had such a crazy course load, it has been the friends and the community I made here that has kept me sane, even when I felt so burnt out and stressed out.
It's a beautiful butterfly.
As someone who grew up very academic and very, I need to have all my ducks in order because that's what an Indian does. An Indian is always ahead of the curve. I was such a like stickler to the rules growing up. I was such a good kid, and like I had my, you know, college plan laid out when I was in middle school. I'm at a point where I genuinely don't know what the next 5 years are going to look like. And if that had been the case when I was graduating high school, I would have been so scared and so afraid and so nervous. But I'm not feeling scared and I'm not feeling nervous. I kind of have a feeling that something's gonna work out, and I think a part of that is because I took up such a daunting challenge in university and I've come out the other end of it, and so it's kind of given me confidence that I have what it takes to, you know, pursue whatever challenges are thrown at me, and I have what it takes to build a community that's going to support me no matter what I do. And so obviously a little bit of me is nervous because I don't have anything completely lined up, but a part of me, you know, coming out of university, doing everything I've done has given me the confidence to be like, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, and even if I'm walking a line that not a lot of people have traveled on before, I'm going to figure out a way.